welcome back to the Piston Show. I'm Kashi Dylan, and as usual, I'll be the host for this video. It's going to be an interesting day today because we're driving the new Haval H6 Hybrid to Desaru in Johor, which is great to give us an opportunity to properly test out the car. Now, the Haval H6 Hybrid is going up against some formidable competition such as the likes of the new Honda CR-V as well as the new Proton X70, which means that it's going to go up against some really stiff competition. But then again, the Haval H6 Hybrid is no slouch. It has over about 240 PS, 530 Newton meters of torque that is sent to the front wheels only, and the 1.5 litre engine is promising to be quite efficient. How efficient exactly, we're going to find out today, and yeah, it's going to be an amazing day. It's a great opportunity to actually try out how efficient, how powerful the car is, and whether or not it's worth your money. GWM Malaysia says that the pricing for this car is somewhere about the 145,000 ringgit, and in typical GWM Malaysia fashion, I suspect it's going to be exactly that, 145,000 ringgit, which means if this Haval H6 Hybrid is really as good as they say it is, it's going to make life difficult for Proton as well as Honda. How difficult exactly, we'll find out today. But as usual guys, a quick acknowledgement of our sponsor. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. This video is brought to you by Berjaya Sompo Insurance. Get Sompo Motosafe by Berjaya Sompo. The less you drive, the less you pay. It's that simple. Choose from 3 different mileage plans with affordable premiums to fit your driving needs. Perfect for those who drive occasionally. Plus, enjoy extra perks like unlimited towing, 100% special perils, and all driver coverages. Ready to drive smart and save big? Switch to Sompo Motosafe today. Head over to Berjaya Sompo Insurance and start saving now. Now, let's take a walk around the outside and I'll show you exactly what you can expect to get. Well, the front is obviously completely dominated by that star matrix grille. That's what GWM Haval calls it. But I like how it just sort of blends into the overall bodywork of the car. It looks really good. You get this 2-tiered grille over here. This is the radar. I'm guessing that's for the adaptive cruise control and other advanced driver aid systems. So that must be the radar over there. And then you get LED matrix headlamps. These are brilliant. They look good. And you can tell over here it says LED premium vision. And then it's generally a really good looking car, there's no doubt about it. And in terms of sizing, I would say it's roughly about the size of the Proton X70, perhaps slightly larger. In fact, I don't have the dimensions with me right now, but that's how it looks like to the naked eye. You get 19-inch gloss black wheels over there. Then you get some body ornaments, you get roof racks over here, shark fin antenna. Generally a nice place, super cool. Then you get this LED light strip. These have a very cool design. Later I'll try to turn on the brake lights and show it to you. And then at the bottom over here you get this diffuser like thing over here, which I'm not sure whether it serves a purpose. I'm guessing it doesn't because it doesn't go very far in. And then you get this brake light over here, although these brake lights over here are really cool. Check out how they just protrude out here. They look really good as well. So that must be the fog lamp then. Anyway, let's open this. Powered tailgate, of course. And you get a massive acreage at the back here. You get a tonneau cover. This is important. So you get about 560 liters of boot space. This is quite large, this boot space. And then once the seats are folded, you get over 1,000 liters. You can run a small shop from the back over here. This is quite generous, this boot space and such. However, you must be wondering if you do get a spare tire, but unfortunately, let me open this up for you. You don't. You do get a tire repair kit though, but you don't get any spare tire. So that can be a bummer, because if you get a sidewall that is punctured, that's going to be difficult to fix. Now you jump inside, but that's too much rose gold for my liking. And as you can see over here, it tends to glare when the sun is just at the right angle. But besides that, it's just really nice. I mean, this beige leather interior, well, time will tell how it stands at the test of time. But overall, it does look really premium. It looks really nice. This sort of looks like Mercedes-Benz's Sennheiser or Burmester sound system, but over here it's just totally plastic. Besides that, it looks really good. The seats, though, are ventilated. However, weirdly, when we turned on the ventilated seats earlier, we only had cool air coming out of the bottom of the seat, not at the back. That is quite odd. And then you get more rose gold stuff everywhere that stretches around the cabin. Let me take a seat. Close the door. I hope you don't mind me doing the vlog style today, because we're driving all the way to Johor. Let me turn this on. And then, so you get Bose switches over here that allow you to control the front seat. This is brilliant in case you got to drive your kids or drive, you know, your boss. Don't mind this walkie-talkie and such. This is for our drive. This is the rotary selector. This is how you select your gears. To the right is D, to N, P is press down. So, but if you don't press the gears, it's not going to select anything, but it'll just rotate the hell out of this, but it's not going to select any gears. To select gears, you have to press on the brake, and now it's in D, but I want it in P. So anyway, these are your cup holders. This is quite handy because this actually tucks away. You get this coin holder thing over here. You get a wireless charge pad. You get some controls. Quality feels nice and decent inside here. Then you get a 10.25 inch screen up front. This is basically your meter panel, your info cluster. This gives you everything that you need to know about the car. But you know, you get this planet thing at the side here. It's just that there's just too much going on. This is typical of Chinese car makers, though. They just try to overload you with information, and yeah, it's just too much. And then you get this 12.35 inch screen over here. This is where you get your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is played back into the cabin through an 8-speaker sound system. It's really nice, really cool. Sounds really good as well. This is your steering wheel. Feels really nice. It's a little bit on the thinner side. It's not very thick in your hands. Feels really good. Quality feels nice as well. And overall, generally, it's a nice place to be. And you get this dual stack area, so you can stack stuff over here and you can keep more stuff here. Your USB ports at the side there, and then more storage space all around the cabin. Looks and feels really nice. I'm not sure if you can see over here, but there is a heads-up display as well. Now, heads-up display is something that I've gotten to love, quite like it. And then you get a panoramic roof as well. It's a bit too hot today to actually keep this open, but it comes in handy. As far as first impressions go, you know, this rose gold stuff is very subjective. You might like it. I don't. I think it's just too tacky, too much gold for me and such. But you might like it. Overall, fit, finish, quality, really good. It truly feels like it's going to last quite a long time, and nothing that it doesn't try very hard to overly impress you. I do think that they should have left some controls over here for the air conditioning, make it easy access. Right now, it's if you have Apple CarPlay going on, for example. Right now, if I have Apple CarPlay, check out how many steps it takes for me to adjust the air conditioning. I have to go back to the home screen and then over here. And to change my drive modes, I got to do this. I first have to swipe right, and these are my drive modes. And weirdly, check this out. If I go from normal, what happened? If I go from normal to, let's say, sport right now, if I select sport, it will flash the indicator lights. So it's sort of giving the world a warning that, look, I'm in sport mode, so stay the hell out of my way. But you also get snow, you get eco, and then you get normal. And then if you swipe this down, these are basically all your easy access stuff, and your Bluetooth controls, your display brightness, your volume and such. So all that is easy control and within easy reach. If you don't want to adjust your volume from that, you find that too difficult, you can always adjust your volume from here and do all the controls from here as well. So overall, fit finish quality seems really nice. Now, I was passenger on the way here. We are currently in Malacca. I was passenger. I'm going to take over the driver's seat after this all the way to Johor. But before I do that, I'm going to take a quick break, jump behind and show you what it's like from the back seat. Let's do this. One thing I got to tell you guys, the back seats are really impressive in terms of spaciousness, headroom, comfort levels, as well as quality of everything at the back here. Feels really nice. It really feels like you can spend a lot of time over here, go on a long distance drive and such. It feels proper, and you get ISOFIX mounts as well, though the latches for that are pretty far in. But that just means that this is brilliant for a family car as well. Now, if you have adult children, you get cup holders, and you get Type A USB ports over here. And then you get your own air conditioning vents, and you get BOS switches as well, which if you have infant children, it's brilliant to annoy the passenger in the front seat, just as my son does when his grandfather is sitting at the front. Anyway, it's everything that you would expect a second row of seats to be like: spacious, comfortable, and with all the safety systems that you need and such. I got nothing to complain about as far as the second row seats, the back seats go. It feels like you could spend hours and hours at the back over here. So this is just fantastic and exactly how you would want things to be. Now though, I go and prepare for the drive all the way to Desaru in Johor. I got about a 3-hour drive ahead of me. Plenty of time, enough to tell you everything that you need to know about the Haval H6 Hybrid. Let's go. Hey guys, what are some of the things that you consider when choosing a petrol brand? For me, I make sure that the petrol can keep my engine clean and also give me better mileage. I'm sure everybody thinks about this when choosing a particular brand. With BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M, you get precisely that. It has special German additives that reduces the amount of deposits that build up in your engine over the long term, keeping it clean. It also has improved friction modifiers that reduces the amount of friction that your engine has to go through, ultimately giving you better mileage and making BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M the right choice. So with all these dings, bells and whistles and just all these annoying sounds all the time, it tends to be a little bit distracting as well as annoying. But then again, there are a couple of systems that you can turn off, but there are a couple of systems that you just have to learn how to live with, such as the fact that if I get too close to the car in front of me, it'll just tell me, something will chime or something will, some noises will intrude back into the cabin, and I just don't quite like that. But then again, the Haval H6 Hybrid makes up for that in a number of different ways. I've already told you about the powertrain, but I've not told you about how power is delivered, especially during low speed accelerations like this. This is when you can really indulge in all that torque, because it just sort of gives you a very nippy feel. If there's a small gap that in traffic that you want to, just sort of sneak into, you can with that much torque under your right foot. But then again, that brings up the question: will that result in wheel spin if things are in slippery conditions such as under rain and such? But that's where the car makes up for that again with an armada of electronic wizards underneath the car. And so there's a bunch of safety nets, there's advanced driver aid systems, everything that you basically need to keep yourself, your passengers, as well as the car safe. That is brilliant. Another thing that I really like is the 360-degree cam. This works brilliantly. It's super clear, and I like the fact that it turns on when you turn the steering wheel, it turns on. As soon as you turn the steering wheel, it turns on, just like how I'm doing right now. Immediately turns on. That just shows you what's around the car and even underneath the car. That is just fantastic. It's one of the best systems that I've seen. The other thing that I particularly really like about the H6 Hybrid is the refinement levels in here. We're stuck in traffic, but we're barely hearing anything of the world outside. There's a BMW GS right in front of us. We can just hear a very mellow thud from the Boxer engine. So even the suspension levels has been, I would describe it somewhat close to the Proton X70. In fact, it's a very nice balance of comfort as well as refinement, control even. So it's not easy to get this level of suspension tuning, but I think Haval has sort of nailed it with that. It's a nice balance, as I said, of comfort as well as control. Now, as soon as we get going, the other thing that I would like to highlight to you is the refinement levels in here. It's so refined in here that it's really easy to get up to some very illegal speeds, so much so that it could probably get your license confiscated for a very long time if you don't keep an eye on the meter panel up ahead of you, because it's so refined in here and the suspension so plush that you can do about 150 kilometers per hour without you even realizing it. So I'm not sure what to make of that. It's great, it's very comfortable, no doubt, but then again, do you really want to be caught off guard doing that kind of speeds? Yeah, not so sure about that. But now, since we got the green light, it's stuck in a bit of traffic, but anyway, oh, just a tad of wheel spin there. So that's what I mean, that it's quite easily to light up the wheels. A byproduct of maybe something to look out for. Anyway, the other thing that I noticed on the highway earlier was just how good the adaptive cruise control system is. I think that deserves a special mention over here, because one of the complaints about the Aura 07, which is a GWM product as well, was just how the adaptive cruise control system felt, because some described it as incredibly sloppy, working as an on-off switch and keeping too big of a gap even when you have programmed it to get as close as possible. But not here in the Haval H6 Hybrid. You know, I like how refined it is as well. I'm using the word refined again, but it really is refined, because even when you have set it to be as close as possible, it doesn't jam on the brakes when it gets close. It sort of just lifts off the throttle, lets the car coast, and then gently gets on the brakes just to give you the right amount of distance from the car ahead. It does that really well. And you activate the adaptive cruise control through an independent toggle down here, just like olden day Mercedes-Benzes. But the way that it works is really well. I think GWM deserves special credit for this, because it's really refined, and the way that it works, lifts off the throttle, lets the car coast, and then gently gets on the brakes again. It feels very seamless. It feels very almost human-like in its execution. Now we are about to hit the highway heading towards Desaru, just from a standing start. Now it's a great time to feel the acceleration in this car. That's 5. That really doesn't feel. Oh, there you go. That's that hybrid system switching and now working seamlessly. Doesn't really feel that much, like 530 Newton meters of torque. Perhaps that's the engine doing the heavy lifting. But then again, this is the refinement levels that I was talking about, because the speeds that we are doing now will probably get my license confiscated for about a year. So I'm going to be stopping right now. And so That's the refinement that I was talking about. That's something I think that you have to experience by yourself to actually appreciate how refined the car actually is. The other thing that about the controls, about how the car feels, even though the suspension is well sorted, it is the handling, the way the steering wheel feels. It doesn't feel very engaging. It feels very dull, in fact. And there's just about an inch or half an inch of play, just free play, where the car just does not seem to be responding to any input. This is, you know, I would understand if this was a hydraulic steering rack, but this is an electronic steering rack and it feels rather odd. Maybe it's just this car. So that is something to look out for if you're considering a Haval H6 Hybrid, is the way that the steering feels. Feels very light, there's no doubt about it. Let me try to change the mode. Okay, I'm in sport mode right now. It's just the same. Not much difference. The steering does get just a nudge heavier. That's of course quite common when you change driving modes to shift between sports and normal or eco. We also have snow mode, and so we have about 4 driving modes over here: sport, snow, eco, normal. So these are the driving modes that you have to play with. Each of them does a special something. Lighten the steering wheel, maybe makes the accelerator feel sharper or number. These are the things that is quite normal. But the steering, the way the steering feels though, yeah, that's just not to my liking. Besides that, the car feels brilliant, especially between 120 to 130 kilometers per hour. It's just really nicely refined in here. So in closing, guys, the Haval H6 Hybrid has proven to be quite a decent all-rounding SUV. It's going to give a tough time to the likes of the Proton X70 as well as the Honda CR-V, simply because from a price point, talking about that, GWM Malaysia has said that the Haval H6 Hybrid is going to cost about the 145,000 ringgit region. And knowing GWM Malaysia, usually when they say that, that means the price will be on the dot or just slightly under 145,000 ringgit. So is it worth that kind of money? I think so. It definitely is worth that kind of money because it's a car that drives well. It's a car that has all the space that you want. It's extremely comfortable as well. As I was saying earlier, the suspension is really well sorted out. Of course, there are a couple of things that I didn't quite like. I'm not a fan of that rose gold trimming. The one thing that I was complaining about earlier, the way that the steering wheel has the numbness in between just at the dead center, well, I found out that the way around that was actually to adjust the steering mode to have it in sport. If you have it in normal or in light mode, it's just, you're going to have that dead spot. Well, I would have preferred it to not have that in any mode, but it is what it is. And then the other thing that I particularly appreciate about the car is just the way that it feels. It's incredibly refined. Let me just show you this car. I'm sure you're sick and tired of seeing my face. But I just like how incredibly refined it is. It's also quite good looking. Now, besides all of that, the refinement, the comfort, as well as the amount of power that it has, it's also impressively fuel efficient. Now, we did some speeds that I won't mention here, but we did 9 liters per 100 km. Now, GWM claims that it can do somewhere between 5.5 to 5.8 liters per 100 km. But for 9 liters per 100 km, at the speeds that we were doing to get here to Desaru in JB from USJ in Subang, I can live with that. I can live with 9 liters per 100 km. Anyway, guys, the GWM Haval H6 Hybrid has proven to be quite an amazing all-rounding machine. And yes, it's definitely going to give the established brands, Mazda CX-5, Proton X70, Honda CR-V, the likes of that, a rather hard time. There's another one going. But that's fine, because in this scenario, the consumer always wins. The more choices for you, the better. Because what better way to spend your money than to have lots of choices, right? Now, the big question, should you spend your money on one? Well guys, GWM is actually a huge brand. There's no doubt that it's been around for many, many years. And the thing about it in Malaysia is that it's still setting up shop. The car that you're seeing over here is a CBU unit. This is not the CKD unit. Now, they're going to be launching this together with the CKD variant once the factory is ready to do that, sometime around soon, about this September, the month of September, or perhaps early October. The thing is, there's no telling how the CKD variants are going to feel like, but from what we experience with the CBU units, the one that you're seeing here, it's a really nice car. Should you buy one? I think from a pricing perspective alone, it makes a lot of sense. But from an ownership perspective, how it's going to be like over the next couple of years, you know, servicing, access to spare parts and such, that's where it's probably going to be difficult to beat the established brands. I'm talking about Proton, Honda, Toyota, the likes of those. For now though, from a product perspective, it's a very nice car, and there's no doubt about that. Thank you for watching, guys. As usual, do consider subscribing, and yeah, that's my thoughts on the new Haval H6 Hybrid, about to be launched here in Malaysia, or by the time I publish this video, it's probably going to be launched already for somewhere around the 145,000 ringgit. Thank you for watching. Do consider subscribing.